It's just working now.
Everybody got quiet when I turned the camera on.
How are you doing?
Honey, how are you?
You should have worn a Santa hat, Howard.
Okay,
The
sir.
problem is he's like that cat.
Well, it's actually a minute early, but that's all right.
You know which cat I...
Okay, let's start the meeting.
Yes.
Make a motion,
You know what you're doing? So
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, we're going to start with the roll call, folks, and I have to announce Lou was here earlier for our training committee meeting. Received a phone call right before noon that his father-in-law had taken a turn for the worse and had to leave in a hurry. His wife called him to tell him the unfortunate news. So he wanted to be remembered to everyone, and I hope that we will all keep his father-in-law in our thoughts and prayers. The gentleman is in hospice now in Binghamton and took a bad turn this morning. Okay, starting with Delaware County. Jack Early is excused. He's in a better place. I said that to somebody once, and they said, "What happened?" I said, "He's nothing. He's in Florida." Lou is excused. Pat Delameter is here. And Fulton County, Bonnie Lumen. Jack Farquhar. Howard Heim. Don Coy. A gold star for Fulton County. Hamilton County, Cindy Dunham, excused. Joyce Belidi.
Here.
Bill Malidi, present. Gary Wicks.
Here.
Okay, sort of a semi-gold star. Montgomery County, Tom Pasquarelli.
Here.
Nikki Swartz.
Here.
Trish Green.
Here.
Jared? Anybody know where Jared
Jared
is?
is working today.
Working today? Okay. Otsego County, excuse me. Sid Chase is excused. Brian Knapp. Something must have come up. He must be working because I was informed yesterday he would be here. Dr. Markowitz.
Here.
Dana Wygand.
Here.
Rich Kirschman.
Here.
Sort of a gold star for Otsego County. Very good. Gary County, we don't have Bill Averill or Ed Brandt. Not present. Mark Zeke.
Present.
And Dr. Leinhardt.
Present.
And sir, Mr. Vice Chairman, we have a quorum, sir. I got,
No, you skipped Steve.
well, no, the approval of minutes. We're
Yeah,
going
you
to come up with the approval of the
skipped them.
minutes. They were distributed to everybody in a timely manner and posted on our regional website.
Motion? Motion approved. Second?
Who made, okay. Dan, okay. Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
We've got some guests today. We have a whole bunch of guests today. Rich Beebe. Where shall I put you down as being from, Rich?
That's a lot of
always a
questions.
dilemma for me. Rich is from everywhere. Okay, welcome, Rich. Deb Cuffs. Mary Ramo. Joe Farrell. Jill Dunham from Fulton County. Beth McGowan. And from Hudson Simulation Services, we have Greg Viss and Rich Terwilliger. They're down at the end of the table there. We'll be hearing from them briefly in just a little while. Welcome, one and all. Everybody got a copy of the correspondence? A certain eagle-eye member of the family noted that I had a typo in the correspondence. It will be corrected. You can always tell when the state is looking over your shoulder. It's a terrible thing.
He types the way he talks.
Okay. The chairman's report. The chairman's report is next. Howard, do you have anything?
No, I got nothing to say.
All right. That's a little bit of a simplification. We deeply regret that Lou is not with us, and we're sorry to hear why he's not. Secretary's report. On November 29th, we received a letter from the Otsego County E.M.S. Advisory Council advising that Mr. Knapp, Brian Knapp, had been reappointed to serve another term as representative, and that Jane Putman had regretfully tendered her resignation. And Dr. Markowitz had been selected by the Advisory Council to replace Mrs. Putman. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion that we accept with regret the resignation of Jane Putnam and to thank her for her dedicated service, years of dedicated service to our council and to E.M.S. in general, and that we accept Dr. Markowitz as a member, replacing Mrs. Putnam.
Is he qualified?
Is he qualified?
That's under investigation.
No.
Okay, who's second? I'm sorry.
Anybody.
Anybody?
Look at that shade of red.
Okay, all in favor?
Favor? Aye.
Opposed?
Dr. Markowitz still remains, as of course does Dr. Leinhardt, a member of our REMAC as well. On December 3rd, we received word from Donna Johnson at the Department of Health of the next meeting dates for SEMSCO and CMAC. I'm not trying to steal Mark's thunder here. I just wanted to, I rarely get a direct email from Donna Johnson unless she's trying to solicit membership or attendees at the regional council or the state council or something, the vital signs, I should say. I'm sure that Mark will talk more about the next meeting of SEMSCO and CMAC. On December 11th, we were advised by Dr. Pellerin that he would be discontinuing his agency medical direction on December 22nd for a number of agencies in both Delaware and Otsego County, since he's leaving the area, taking a new position at the VA hospital in Albany. So we began making contacts to some of the agencies in question and the county E.M.S. offices involved. At least 13 agencies are affected, including in Otsego County, Oneonta Fire Department, CMT, Middlefield, SUNY Oneonta, Otsego, and Wells Bridge. And in Delaware County, Davenport, East Branch, Grand Gorge, Merrydale, Kinders Corners, Treadwell, and Trout Creek. We are advised that a temporary arrangement has been made for him to continue with the Oneonta Fire Department ambulance as a stopgap measure, but not with any of the others to the best of my understanding. And I spoke with Steve Wood at length about this, and also with Robert O'Brien in Otsego County, more about this next month. On December 11th, we were advised that the Department of Environmental Conservation had used an AED at one of their offices in this region. They didn't specify which office. They have a blanket PAD for all their offices. The patient was a 53-year-old male who unfortunately did not respond to resuscitative efforts. On December 13th, we were advised by Dan Clayton at the Department of Health of a voluntary recall of certain reusable laryngoscope blades. This recall notice was forwarded to all the members electronically. On December 17th, in a phone conversation, Jack Farquhar raised the dilemma faced by a number of controlled substance agencies, since they must now replace and restock their controlled substances by bringing their ambulance vehicle to the hospital, instead of the agency designated officer doing this using a personal vehicle. For many years, our controlled substance plans included a statement allowing the agency designated officer to use their personal vehicle, and we were just recently advised by the Department of Health that this was actually against the law, even though it had been going on for almost 10 years. It was against the law because there is a state law which says that controlled substances cannot be transported in privately owned vehicles. They talk about E.M.S. controlled substances. So this is a dilemma, and I'm putting it on the agenda for the REMAC in January. It is a real dilemma, because particularly for squads that are some distance from the hospital and only have one ambulance vehicle. It means going out of service for the length of time necessary to do the replacement, restocking, outdate changing, and so forth. A problem, anyway. Rich Ruther of Remo has asked for the opinion of the members as to when a CLI course would be best received. That is to say, weekdays, weeknights, weekends, or whatever. The course is planned for the end of February or the beginning of March, and it's going to be over at Remo. And he's looking for a little input from us as to what would be the best time frame for such a course. So if you think about that, we can talk about that during the training discussion. Also, tech booklets will be going out next week. I apologize that they have not been able to go out before this, and the basic reason why they were not able to go out was because we didn't have any money for postage. More about that under the Treasurer's report. We now have the money, thank the Lord. So they're going out next week. In the meantime, I would urge all of the tech providers in the region to download a copy of the booklet, which is on our website, and to use that. Some of the larger agencies are now sending me just a single sheet of paper, or 2 sheets of paper with the names of the techs on it and an attestation by the agency director and the medical director, but the above have completed their procedures for this 6-month period. And that's fine. If you want to do it that on the agency level, if you want to do it that way, that's great. It actually saves a lot of paperwork. allows me to input it into the computer a lot quicker. And no notice of enforcement actions have been received this past month. That's 2 months in a row we didn't have any enforcement action. Does that mean everybody is less naughty? They want to be nice to Santa? And that, sir, is my report.
Okay.
Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report next. This is, I'll make it very quick, but you see that you have the handouts available to you here. As of September the 4th, the Department of Health was up to date in payments to us. On October 3rd, we submitted reported deliverables for the council 582636 and for the program agency 4389182. We inquired of Lisa DeLong, the Department of Health, as to the payment status on November 9th without receiving a reply. On November 27th, after having sent 3 emails to her, she asked for particulars on past due vouchers and stated that the E.M.S. Bureau was pursuing timely payment. It was already untimely by that point. The information she requested was provided, and then in a telephone conversation on December 3rd, and took a paper trail on this for your own enjoyment. On December 3rd, she stated word on payments was still being awaited. On December 5th, we sent her an email reminder and also contacted Senator Seward's office for assistance. And the next day, December 6th, we received word that the Senator's office had contacted supervisory personnel at the Department of Health who would actively follow up. And December 19th, we got a check for $43,891.82. We still haven't received the council check, but the big one came in. On December 14th, we received the approved program agency contract for the period from July 1st of this year to June 30th of 2015. The contract amount is $153,842 per year. That's the same amount as it has been since 1994, I think. Yeah. A printed report of the cash flow and balance sheet was distributed to all members. Sid has an excused absence today, but Lou examined it before he had to leave, unfortunately, today, and Howard examined it also. Any report on that?
No.
Okay. And at this time, I would call for a motion from the floor as regards the treasurer's report, or any questions there might be about it. Okay, made and seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Joyce and I will abstain as staff members, as we always do.
Regional Program Agency.
Okay, Regional Program Agency Committee. As you know, our PCR screening person, Jane Sherman, retired in this past June, as she said, as a present to herself for her 86th birthday, God bless her. And she's doing fine. She's doing wonderful. She had an extraordinary work ethic. It always embarrassed me. It was so good, as a matter of fact. Joyce has been doing the PCR screening, and we have found that the best way for her to do it, now I'm going to let her speak for herself in a minute, but the best way for her to do it is outside of her regular work hours. So I'm going to make a recommendation that Joyce be given a little compensation increment on a monthly basis, because she's doing it averages about 40 hours a month over and above her regular work hours to do the screen of PCR, to the paper PCR, of course. Reckoning her hourly rate at the same as we gave Jane, who is a full-time PCR screener, or part-time PCR screener, that would come to about $490 a month, and rounding it off, about $500 a month. So I would make I would make a recommendation that the members consider an additional compensation in a one-time payment per month for Joyce, because this, again, outside her regular work hours. She does this at night time.
Yeah, I could do it, could do it during work hours, regular work hours. That, and I have been trying to do that, but most of the time I'm doing the PCRs at night now, and working in addition. If I do it during regular work hours, I can. It will reduce the amount of anything else as far as educational programs and so forth like that I can do. So whatever you want, I can get those hours in during regular work hours, or I could just do it above and beyond the regular work hours and continue what I usually do for the region.
I have a
So
motion.
it's up to you.
Make a motion, we give her the $500 a month to do it.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nobody's opposed, but I'll abstain, for obvious reasons. We have the
I
same-
abstain, too.
We have the same last name.
Say it's passed.
I have the same last name.
Okay.
By the way, I should mention that this still results in a considerable net yearly savings for the region. Jane's salary, she worked 50 hours, 25 hours a week, year-round. And she got benefits also. Her salary came to about $15,945 a year. And so this comes to $6,000 a year. So there's still quite a bit of a saving. That's the reason. Okay. Yes, sir. Geez, Lou never talks to me like that.
Training committee.
I don't think we can hear what he said, but
You don't have to talk anymore, we already voted on it.
So I got nothing more to say, just turn it over to Joyce.
Training.
go Howard. Anyway, I hear you. Let's see. This morning we talked PEP. The PEP program is all set. Took a while to put all the details together, but Bonnie Bertman has been very helpful, and she's going to be the lead instructor for that program. It'll be on the 9th of February in Oneonta at the Fox Care Center. On the 16th of February at the JVAC headquarters, Johnstown Area Volunteer Ambulance Corps in Johnstown. The fee will be $30. That's a considerable savings over what it would otherwise cost us because of the state grant funding. And the first 24 students for each location will be accepted. So the first 24 to enroll and have their $30 $30 check into us will be enrolled, and then we'll have a waiting list after that if we need to. You can register now by going to the PEP website if you want to, and you have to put in the state, New York, and then the instructor would be Bertman, Urtman. Or the other way, what we're going to do is we're going to get a flyer out. I'm going to try to do that early next week, probably Monday, not Tuesday, but probably Monday. We'll get that out. I'll get that ready and get it out, and it'll be sent to all the agencies. It'll also be sent online to everybody that receives the AAREMS mailing.
Which is about, in addition to AAREMS members, it's about 80% of the agency representatives in our region.
So anyway, we will get that out as soon as we can. So if you have any questions, give me a call. The registration, the check is going to have to be made out to AAREMS and sent to us anyway, whether or not you register online or however.
Is this an ALS level?
It's a BLS.
level?
It's a BLS level. Yes. We did that just so we leave it open to everybody. And it's a one-day program, BLS level. Let's see. Amsterdam Ambulance, GAVAC, is looking to do an EMTB, well not EMTB, it's EMT program now, which will be on Wednesday and Thursday evening, Saturday days, starting on March 23, that's a Saturday, ending with the test date of June 20th. They are asking, they are in the process of applying to be a course sponsor, sort of to take the place of Amsterdam Memorial Hospital, that was a very active course sponsor a number of years ago, and GAVAC is looking to do that. What they would like the region to do is to, Hamilton County has agreed to sponsor this course on a one-time basis. And in order for them to do that, because it's out of their area of coverage usually for courses. They have asked for AAREMS approval to have Hamilton County E.M.S course sponsor the course on a one-time basis for GAVAC. And I would like to make that motion at this point.
Seconds.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay.
I'm sorry, who did the second on that?
Don?
Donnie, okay.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Passed.
Okay.
Phil, you'll send a letter in regards to that, so we can submit that with our.
Oh, sure, sure.
With our consent.
I'll do that, I'll take a look tomorrow.
We also had discussion on the increasing problem of rural training and reaching students in rural areas without them having to travel great distances. We talked a little bit about distance learning and that it is an up-and-coming way of getting your EMT training and advanced EMT training in New York. I expressed some concern about some of the rural areas, especially Hamilton County, who have very, very limited access to distance learning technology. But at this point, that we just had that discussion. And the last, but definitely not least, we have had a visit from Greg Viss, who's blue shirt number 1, and Rick Terwilliger, blue shirt number 2. Anyway, they're from Hudson Simulation Services, and they are planning to do some training in our area, in our region, with simulation mannequins, and I'm going to just let them talk about it and give you just a heads up on what they're doing at this point. So go for it, guys.
Hi, everyone. Hudson Simulation, we're a medical training company and equipment company, and in 2010, 2011, we were sponsored by the U.S. Department of Agriculture to provide simulation training in the Mountain Lakes region. It was a research project looking at the effectiveness of simulation as a training tool, and that study showed that it was a very effective and popular method of training. Fits into adult learning, it's hands-on, the users get to practice as they would treat in the field. And so based on the success of that program, we've received follow-on funding to do a second round of the research project, and we're looking to expand our area that we would be training in and provide more training. So we're very excited about working with the AAREMS region, where over from March 2015 through 15 months we'll work with 40 agencies and provide varying levels of simulation training. We have 4 high-fidelity mannequins, adult male, adult female, pediatric, that we will bring to the agencies and provide scenario training that everybody, as many people as possible, can participate in. So that, in a nutshell, is the program, and we're very, very excited once again to be working with AAREMS on this.
I think a couple other things that Rick and Greg brought up this morning. There will be a survey sent to all the agencies in the region, and that would be in January, probably.
We're sending, at the beginning of January, there'll be a email version and a hard copy version. So keep an eye out for it. If someone doesn't get it, just have them contact me. Let your folks know that it's coming.
Right.
So it doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
If they don't, you're going to send something out, right?
I will send everybody here contact information for Greg and Rick. I'll send that out, and when they get to the radio, know that before that they can reach out to the agency.
So get a word around to look out for this and respond to it. If they don't respond, they're not going to be in the drawing to for the agencies.
Right. And of course, there was no charge for these services that the gentlemen are providing, no charge at all.
The other thing is these agencies are going to be picked at random from the AAREMS agencies, and you also said that if agencies do training with other agencies on a regular basis, you know, some of these agencies are so small, they do get together for training, that's encouraged also. So if one's picked, they can, if they have regular training together with other agencies, so that other agencies can be included. So keep an eye out for that survey, get the word around to respond to that. And thank you guys for everything you're doing.
We're very grateful. This is, I said to them early on today, I said, this is almost too good to be true. And you know what they say about things that are almost too good to be true. But this is on the, certainly on the level, and it stands a chance of providing very good opportunities for our region. Very good opportunities.
You know, one thing that I'll mention is that training, a lot of the training is going this way, because they're actually talking about the National Registry in a couple of years. The scenario, it's going to be scenario-based testing for the final skills exam. So, you know, training is going more and more this way, so it's kind of preparing people for that.
Greg was explaining earlier during the committee meeting about these marvelous high-tech mannequins that they have, and I said, gee, some of the agencies might want to sign them up as members. They're the mannequins.
That's the mannequins.
Great too, but you know, the mannequins.
The other thing is, if there's any instructors, CICs in your area that are really interested in getting involved in the program, they also encourage them to get in touch with you, with them, get those CICs to get in touch with them if they're interested in the training. Or
And again, I'll send that
getting
contact
involved.
information out to everyone. Oh, and one final thing, if I may, on the training committee, I really want to thank Dr. Markowitz. He was a very big help in making arrangements for the PEP program at Fox Center. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that is all, training.
Transportation standards. On October the 23rd, information was sent to the appropriate officer of the Sharon Springs Rescue Squad relative to the certificate of need process. On November 14th, the gal called us and said she had just received the mailing the previous day. She wanted everybody to know that she was interested. And yesterday she called again and apologized for her delay in getting the application back to us. There's a lot of work to be done. Apparently she's the only one that let him do it. So I'll keep everybody posted, but we still haven't got the application back, the revised application back. We sent their original application back to them in June of 2011 because it was incomplete. And this is the very longest we've had to wait for a resubmission. Anyway, that's my report, sir.
Okay. State council report?
Mark?
Oh, I'm sorry, what? I was mesmerized by it. My bad here. I don't have much to report. We will be meeting the end of January, the 29th and 30th. I'm waiting to hear about having an organizational meeting, waiting to hear from Donna Johnson. I have been tasked by Lee to chair a small tag about the new NFPA 1917 ambulance standards, and Joe recently was assigned as my staff for that tag, and we have met twice by conference call, and we'll meet again in January and discussing various issues about what the impact might be on all of us and on the manufacturers. And I have had conversations with manufacturers from Braun Ambulance, and the tag is made up of somebody from the volunteer sector, somebody from the fire sector, somebody from the commercial sector, and two former state council chairs who are both delegate and alternate to the NFPA discussions about the ambulance standard. I have a copy of the standard with me, somebody can look at it, but it's about that thick. One of the biggest issues, and I think I reported this last time from the state council meeting, but the new standard, which goes into effect in January. However, there isn't one state that has adopted it at all. And I don't know, that may happen, but the standard that goes into effect in January is under revision, and that revision is expected to come out in 2015. So there's a bit of a period of limbo here, and some of the manufacturers are building to the standard, some are providing a package and building to the triple K standard. And there is a movement among the NFPA people who are dealing with this to extend the triple K standard until 2015. So we're trying to, at least direction, we're trying to decide whether or not we need to make any changes or additions to Part 800, 22 or 24. The big change in the new standard is that it's only predicated on carrying one patient. Part 800 requires a second recumbent patient. Some squads who are preparing to order new ambulances have called Lee about this, and I think I mentioned this in my report, but she has been writing waivers to them so that if they're requesting that their ambulance be built to the NFPA standard, that they will get a waiver from Lee to only be able to take one patient instead of two. That's one of about 5 or 6 issues that we're currently discussing. Some of the other issues are the standard requires seatbelt monitoring alarms for crew members in the back. Some people have pointed out that this would be something of a distraction when things go south in the back of the ambulance and people have to jump out of their seats and do what they have to do. And the driver doesn't need to listen to one more thing besides a siren and watching the traffic, etc. One of the other issues is the color of the chevrons that are supposed to be required on the back of the ambulance, which are supposed to cover 50% of the area. And the standard requires the color to be red and yellow. Some people have questioned that, and in fact there was a motion to cancel that part, and according to the folks at Braun that I talked to, that was defeated because the fire people felt that all emergency vehicles should be consistently colored so that people really understood that they were emergency vehicles on the side of the road. So that's something that New York State might agree to modify or waiver. My chevrons are red and white. Mohawks might be green and white. Bang's ambulance in Ithaca might be blue and white. Does it really matter? As long as they're chevrons and they're reflective, etc. And there are a couple of other issues like that. There are a lot of good technological advances in the standard. There isn't too much that one would argue with. It's a burden on the manufacturers at this point because they're having to build to multiple standards. They make that choice. Like at Braun, they have a 1917 package. If some fire department ambulance decides that they want to have, or they have to have their ambulances built to that standard. It's an interesting collection of folks on this tag from various sectors, and we're having good conversations, and I'm hoping to be able to make a report at the January State Council. But the important thing for you to remember to worry about is that if there are things in the standard that you do or you don't want to order on your ambulance, you can get a waiver, I think, from Lee for some of those things. That's the department's position at this point.
Do you know if that's going to affect grant processes, like the assistance to firefighters grants, if you're not compliant with the NFPA?
I don't know. No, that's not been an issue. It's not been a topic of discussion. Good question.
Just curious, because when you buy like a fire truck, it has to meet the NFPA standards.
There's a lot of pushback to this standard. The AAA, American Ambulance Association, has written a letter of protest about some of these issues. As I say, the states have not, they're not running to adopt this standard at the moment, so that's sort of where we stand.
Phil, can I add something? The end of last month, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, up in Clinton County, there was an ambulance fatality, an accident. Fortunately, what happened was the 45-year-old had a massive cardiac event. He was the fatality. He was the driver of the ambulance.
Right.
There was nothing that could have been done. Actually, he was the seatbelted driver. There was not a mark on the fellow. The critical care tech and the EMT in the back, however, when the ambulance went off the road, it was a straightaway, and where the road turned, it went off the road, hit a culvert by where they were putting all those wind turbines, and then came back up on the road. So it went down and up. The two care providers in the back, the critical care tech who was seated on the CPR seat next to the patient, ended up unresponsive in the bulkhead of the ambulance. The EMT that was sitting on the bench next to her, on the net bench across from her, ended up on top of her. He laid his scalp open from here to here. He was at the funeral with his head stapled back together with a subarachnoid bleed. The critical care tech ended up with 6 fractured ribs, a significant concussion, questionable liver lack, and a small pneumo that was resolving on its own. The reason I bring this up is, had they been wearing their seat belts, they may have walked out of this. I mean, unfortunately, the driver, there was nothing, it was his time. And I mean, as many advances as we make with ambulances, you got to drive it home to the providers that the seatbelt is the first line of defense.
I don't think anybody argues with that,
but no one wears them.
With wanting to make things safer in the back
Right.
of the ambulance.
But no one's wearing their seatbelts again.
Oh, I know.
And that's the only reason I bring this up. The patient got off the stretcher, ran barefoot across the street, and called 911.
Yes.
Because they didn't, well, the fellow with the headlock tried on the radio to call. He didn't know where they were. You know, 12:15 at night, all you could see is windmills, the wind turbines on an open country road. Where are you? So,
What county was that in?
that was in Clinton County, Altoona. It was a Champlain ambulance.
When was that?
November 27th. It was a Tuesday morning, about 12:15.
Yeah, I remember reading about it.
That's what happened. I mean, unfortunately, it was a straightaway road. You know, the driver could have been dead for 2 miles, up to 2 miles, by the way the road was.
Well, also, I should know, the state council has seated a full committee, a safety committee.
And that's exactly, and that's why I bring this up. You know, we got to try to drive it home. You know, a lot of you have new officers with the change of the year. You know, try to drive home the seatbelt issue.
Good point. Very good point.
So, in the February meeting, I guess I'll have a report from the state council.
Good.
And still no word on further meetings during the year.
They've not been approved yet. We had a staff meeting yesterday. Was it yesterday, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing past January, that's what I mean.
Okay, the regional program directors, I haven't heard any details about the January meeting yet, but I will, I'm sure. And I have no other program update. So, Dr. Lionheart, do you have anything for the REMAC?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Well, the other issue that I wanted to talk about, there is a bit of a medical director crisis shortage in our area, and we're part of it, and I'm assured by Gus that we'll be covered one way or another for somehow. One of my employees who is a member of the Milford squad said that they had lost their medical director, but they had found a physician who was willing, Matt Jones was willing to take them on as of last night, but they don't have their paperwork for that, but I think that slide into the January meeting pretty well, I think.
Okay, I haven't heard from them actually, but.
Well,
Actually, I had a voicemail from the gentleman from Milford, and he said, I was out to lunch, I came in, he said, call me back. I called him right back, and I got his voicemail.
He was out, probably on a run
He was
after
probably
that.
on a run after that, but this just happened last evening, he told me,
Oh, okay,
this morning
great.
when he called me, so it
Excellent.
is pretty up to date, but
Excellent.
they'll be submitting that.
Okay, well, we'll have several new medical directors to be approved on at the January meeting.
Along those lines, I'm going to request that I go from 10, which is the limit above that, with squads. If you guys will approve that, there's a shortage, like multiple squads coming, so we take us on.
And the sad thing I understand is that some of the new physicians coming into the area are specifying their contracts that they will not be doing
There
E.M.S. medical direction.
are many that do state in the contract they will not have anything to do with EMS. I'll bring it up that my new position has no EMS malpractice insurance. I've asked the squads, it's $4,000 a year is what the policy runs, and I've asked my squads, and now we're looking at 12 squads, and I said I would act as 2 squads, divide that $4,000 up among all of us, and it comes up to like $285 a year to cover me for that.
Very cost effective.
And so the idea is I'm asking all of my squads, if they don't mind, pitching in, let's take this up and share the cost. Because I think I deserve some form of liability insurance.
Indeed you do, indeed you do. And I'd like to make a motion at this time that AAREMS approves Dr. Markowitz's request to exceed the minimum, the maximum number of agencies for medical direction.
I'll second it, but under discussion, it's a state regulation. I mean, we can't make
It
a
says in
motion.
there that you have to take it to REMAC also.
So REMAC does have the authority to.
Grant overturn.
Yeah, the
Okay,
council.
good. I hear the DOH nodding yes. Good.
Take it to the rematch.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Okay.
Yeah, we'll put that on the
Put that on the
REMAC.
REMAC agenda for next
We'll
week.
put that on the REMAC agenda also.
County report, Hamilton.
We're good.
Okay, Fulton,
Everything's fine.
Montgomery.
He's hard of hearing, you have to announce it.
What'd you mumble? Did you mumble Montgomery?
We have, the only thing we have is cardiology tomorrow at GAVAC, free CMEs, 8 hours, cardiology all day, starts at 8 o'clock, ends at 5.
Okay. Harry.
Nobody here from Scuderia, sir.
Okay. Delaware.
Anybody? That bill meeting?
They're at their Christmas party today.
At Seago?
Siegel.
That's where Lydia was going to be.
Okay. Any old business?
You?
Any new business?
I just want to bring up a couple of points. This wave notice, there's going to be a CLI course in Mountain Lakes on January, I think it's the 23rd or 26th. It's always a Saturday.
Yep,
That
sorry.
has been approved by the state, and they're accepting applications. It's a 2-day course, and then the 3rd day practice skills day. We'll try to work out the arrangements there for those that are interested. We've come together with Paul Smith College, and shortly we'll be running a wilderness advanced life support course at the end of June. There'll be more details forthcoming from that. And I understand from Mr. Brandt that Bill Averill is retiring as the Schoharie County ALS coordinator effective the 1st of January. And I don't know if the region wants to do anything to honor his many years of service.
This is the first time we heard of that, actually, not here. Okay. We'll do something on the executive level, how's that? Is that agreeable to everybody?
That's fine.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot about the Mountain Lake CLI. If you want information, send me an email and.
And it's on the website also.
Yeah, it's on the
our
website.
Education page on our website about the Mountain Lake CLI.
A new business.
I was just asked to bring up that Cobleskill, SUNY Cobleskill has a UT original course that they are starting in January through May. It's Saturdays.
Okay, I believe that's on our website also.
If not, there's something scanning for that.
Sure. I will send flyers around to everybody, so they have that specifically.
Any other new business? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
We're gonna make you sit here another hour.
So moved.
Order it,
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to
Merry
everyone.
Christmas, everybody.
Fantastic.